Smithers! Who is that man?
Why, that's Troy Bond, sir.
Troy Bond, eh?
Yes, sir. He's a local New York City comedian.
New York City, where else is he going to be performing, Smithers? I'll tell you where I'll be at. Thank you for listening to another episode of Bonding. Sorry for coming in so hot and yelling right in your ear. Hey, it's March 7th, Tuesday. I'm going to be in Stanford, New York Comedy Club tonight. Although if you're listening to this, you probably missed the show. And you also missed the show on March 9th at the Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island, because we are sold out. I've been waiting to sell out for years, and now I finally can. But you can still see me at Helium Comedy Club. That's going to be Philly, March 21st. I'm going to be in Maryland at Magoobies on March 30th. San Diego at Mic Drop Comedy, April 4th. April 6th, I'm going to be at Stand Up Live in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to try to bring Carrie Lake to come open for me there if we got anybody from Arizona out there. Buffalo on April 16th. St. Louis, Missouri, April 20th. We have Portland, Oregon, May 7th. Zanies in Chicago, May 9th and 10th. As well as Salt Lake City, Utah on the 21st. Nashville, this one is new. I'm going to be in Nashville, Tennessee on August 2nd. I'm going to be in Atlanta. If you really from Atlanta, then you know that shit before. Yeah, you know. Yes, I'll be the man. Who you telling? I'll be there April 3rd at City Winery in Atlanta. And then April 4th, I'm doing a whole weekend out in Austin, Texas. I know that was a lot of dates that I just gave you. All of them are available on my website at troybondlive.com. But that is not what we're here to talk about today. Today, we're here to talk about Torey Cole, as we are celebrating her birthday on this podcast. Happy birthday, Torey. You are like a podcast co-host to me. Thank you for listening to another episode of Bonding, and I hope to see you on the road soon.
I'm just feeling chatty.
He's counting down
Like,
the most artistic way possible. Just coming in hot with my man, Rick. You look like a sensei, man. Wax on, wax off, dog. Let's do it. Rick is here to make sure everything's happening. We're not in Tori's house today.
it's crazy.
We're in a studio.
We need a sign.
We're it looks like we're about to record an Al-Qaeda video.
Yeah, pretend this says Bonding
This is
podcast.
great. Yeah, we will. We'll put that there in
hot
post.
Pink neon signage.
Yes,
I think that's what you
hot
would want.
Pink.
Mhm.
That's what I scream out,
That's what
baby. I'm a
Troy
Barbie
wants.
girl in a Barbie podcast
Barbie
studio.
core is what it's all about these days.
What, Barbie core?
That's what they call it.
What do you know about core?
That's just a word I saw in Rent the Runway.
Core is a big. That's like a like the most focused of obsessions.
Barbie
right?
core.
Like core. Yeah.
So it's a word.
There's I follow, like, I'm so deep in Star Wars that there's character pages I follow. It'll be like Wedge Antilles core. Wedge Antilles was one of the pilots in both Death Star runs, played by Dennis Lawson. Weirdly enough, in the 70s and 80s, he was in the original 3 Star Wars movies, and his nephew is Ewan McGregor, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. I like that you could make me saying something like Barbie core and bringing it back to
because
Star
I follow
Wars.
a Facebook page called Wedge Antilles Core.
Right, that tracks.
Yeah, I had a Star Wars page, a meme page that I follow. Send me a message this week being like, dude, thank you so much for liking my post. I didn't know you were a Star Wars fan.
How'd they not know?
I don't know. It's
some fan they are.
It's just everything about me, I guess they couldn't pick up on.
That's fair. That's fair.
Welcome back to another episode of Bonding.
Yeah, it's just the two of us today.
Just the two of us.
It's Troy's favorite song.
Tori has this ability to have a stereotypically white woman playlist of the most horrible remixes of classic songs. It's like Peloton wet nightmares when you're listening to it. Like that no part of it sounds fun. It honestly feels like coming down off of a Molly trip with some of the music that you listen to. And like, it's crazy. It's one thing to listen to it when you're working out. I think it's another thing to just listen to it when you're driving. You're just like trying. That should be points on your license, or at least your insurance should know about it, because I feel like listening to that music is just going to inspire you to get into a car accident. Coming in hot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I do think I did a pretty good job DJing overall when we were in Florida. I'm just going to give myself that badge. I did well.
When we were
overall.
in Florida, you had the brilliant idea to rent a car,
Yes.
which works out for me because I don't have a license. I'm 27 years old. I've driven a car twice.
You're going to get it though, right?
I'm going to try to get it this year. It's kind of scary. I have like bad dreams about driving a car.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I should be on the road.
I've had dreams where I'm driving from the back seat, and apparently that's a thing. I Googled it, and they were like, yeah, it means you don't have control over your life.
Driving from the back seat?
Yeah.
In your dream?
Yeah.
Do you think dreams mean anything?
They say some do, but I have a bunch.
Who
where
says that?
The internet and dream specialists. The Google.
What's
Uncle
a dream
Google.
specialist? What is?
I don't know. I might have just made that up. I'm sure they exist.
No, I it sounds like something that would exist, but like I also like was walking by a pillow store in Gramercy today, and I was like, that's such a.
What were you doing walking by a pillow store in Gramercy?
I didn't go to the pillow store. I just
You were-
walked by it.
You're just tootling around.
That's what I do between the hours of 2 and 4.
You just
I
tootle around?
I doodle. I skip.
Troy's
I
just
tootle.
out
I ponder,
tootling.
and I people watch. And this was in between the tootle and the people watching.
Just surprised you're
But-
not home watching comics. That's exciting.
I'm not home.
Normally, I just picture it. You either you're in my mind, you're
Right.
just with me, or you're watching comics in your room. That's
I'm
it.
reading comics.
or you're on
you
stage.
don't watch You're talking
You
comic books.
watch
You read
comics.
comic books. You watch comic book TV shows.
Whatever.
That's. I mean, it's not whatever. It's two
No.
different things. It's reading. I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
not reading Jay Shetty's book on how to not be self-conscious about your own farts or whatever it is that
That's
they
what
read.
it's called. Yeah.
It's
I've
called.
gotten over it, and I feel
12
much
Steps
better
of
now.
Gas. Yeah.
8 rules.
It's not
of-
IBS. It's our BS.
That's actually pretty good.
I read it in his book.
You're quick.
It was
So you're out tootling. You walk past the store.
a pillow store.
Yeah.
Didn't make a lot of sense to me because there was all these pretentious advertisements for it. Like there was one that said it just bothered me how right it was, but I hated that they were using it as a marketing tactic. It said, sleep is the one thing that never goes out of style. Like, yeah, cool, sure.
You
How's
should have
that-
walked in there and said, your signage sucks.
Excuse me, sir. I do have a
You know
note
what?
to take upon.
Sleep is for the weak.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what they were selling. I'm gonna open an insomnia store across
Yeah.
the street.
Like you fucking losers over
Stay up.
there. Have some goals.
You speaking of goals, this is a special. By the time this comes out, the we'll be on the other side of it. But this is your.
Ooh. Sorry. I felt high.
Why did you just get so submissive for no reason in a desk
I
chair?
don't know. Am I okay? Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Felt-
That's just
I didn't like being at your eye level. I'm not used to
you
it.
still are.
I'm lower though.
Okay, I can get lower too,
No.
but I care about
This
the
is
work
normal.
this man
This is
put in.
normal now. Sorry.
This podcast is going to be from my eyebrows down, thanks to you.
I
and
can
your
go
little-
back up.
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't.
Sorry, I just felt weird.
This is
I felt weird.
I didn't pay for this many camera adjustments. This is coming out of your end. We're gonna have to start a Patreon now. This is Torey going up and down in a chair. There's some dudes who would want to see that. You
I
can get a
just gotta put
staple
it behind a
sponsorship.
paywall. It's just me in a swivel chair on my OnlyFans, wearing a sweatsuit.
Yeah, reverse cowgirl. You are. This is the last podcast we're recording in your 20s.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna
Oh,
be
you're going there right
today.
now.
Is I shouldn't. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even said
That
your name.
hurts.
Your birthday is tomorrow.
Yes.
By the time this comes out on Monday, it will have already been your birthday.
Mhm.
And I have been able to be on the sidelines and watch you make this transition the last year.
We've
You've
known
been
you for
looking
2
at-
years, but we haven't worked.
I know, but 2 years of working together, but like of knowing each other. But the last year, I feel like I've heard you talk about come on the cusp of
That's true. I
going
have.
into your 30s, and I've also a lot of people talk about it, but like you're gonna of your 30s, which is crazy because you're turning 40. But like you've been talking about your birthday a lot, and I just wanted to take a second to celebrate you and say
Aw.
I'm very proud of the person that you've become and the person you're going to this next decade into. I don't know what you might be at the end of this decade. I don't know what you'll do at the start of this one, but I'm proud of you because you inspire me to learn how within your grasp changes. You saw something that didn't work for you and like, I'm going to do something different about it. And I was like looking at pictures of, or even clips of us in the first podcast and like looking at you now. And I was like, wow. I mean, you don't really see it because you see that person as frequently as we see each other. But
Right.
like, I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
You've done a lot.
It's very
and
sweet.
I'm grateful to have somebody so geriatric by my side.
Yeah, you better bring some breathing tubes to the next one.
No, yeah, this is also the last podcast.
Can you
too.
spoon feed me?
Yeah, well, I will get you a
Applesauce.
Celsius and a straw.
That would be perfect.
Right in the ivy.
Keep me alive.
But
Thank
happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you so much.
You're gonna be 30 years old. What do you know for sure? Do you know anything for sure?
I don't think anyone knows anything for sure. I think the pandemic
Not one
taught
thing.
us that.
What like it could be
Do you
anything.
like Torey's like 30 rules of life?
Go ahead, give it to me.
Okay.
Or,
Well,
like
I'll just start riffing
give me the
and then cut
interesting
me
ones
off when
at
you're
least.
over it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about your music opinions.
No. Those
Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Tanzania is great. Okay, first thing that comes to mind, again, okay, I'll just match. You're being cheesy. I'll be.
I'm not being cheesy. I was being genuine.
Really sweet, and
You do a lot for
means a lot. Like I think I'm shutting down because I don't know how to accept.
You are.
I know I'm mentally broken right now.
You have a
I'm like,
deflective personality. It works. No, I appreciate it. I know what that was.
Just know that
I
deep
think-
down I'm losing my mind with gratitude.
No, I think deep down there's a sheep that lives inside you that just made that noise. Over rice. What were you saying? I'm sorry. 30 years old. What's going on?
number one
What do you
rule
go-
of life
Yes, is what?
is be kind to others. Truly, it never ends wrong. Like if you're never gonna regret being nice.
When I was I'll piggyback off that.
Please.
When I
Make
grew up
me-
in a karate school, and the karate schools are like, the organization was a lot like a cult, you know, where it's just lifelong. There's dudes who are in it for 30, 40, 50 years, but it's all based on rank, and your rank is dictates a respect level. So like my dad was 12 when he started, and he was his instructor's highest ranking black belt. I think it might have been his instructor's first black belt, but like there would be these guys. My dad would have dudes who were like, 10, 15 years older than him that were of lower rank. So it was always interesting to watch like the power dynamic between like, you're supposed to respect him, shouldn't. And to your, or not shouldn't, but like, it's like this dude is 65 and I'm 50, he looks like my father type of thing. But to your point of always being kind, there was this other black belt in the organization who ran a funeral home. And my dad kind of has an ego and is of caloric temper and could shoot from the hip. And I remember he was telling the black belt who was a funeral director was like a rank or two under my dad, but he was like 20, 30 years older than him. And my dad would always tell the story of how the funeral director told my dad, always be nice, no matter what, just always be nice. And that stuck with me because he was a funeral director. So like he saw
death
a lot.
Yeah.
And if you look death in the face and it's a business, feel like you have a lot of wisdom and
perspective.
You have perspective because you see people go from one life to the next, and you see the people who mourn that, and you are really faced with like what the meaning of life is. And if you're thinking always be nice, that always has been in my head since I was a kid.
Love that.
Like always be kind. It costs nothing to be kind
Truly.
either. It really doesn't. I think it costs a lot more to not be.
Oh yeah, it always comes back. I also feel like the truth always comes out, no matter in what form, no matter in what way. Like if you are holding something back, whether it's a truth or something, it could even just come out in body language or the way you treat someone.
Yeah.
So I've actually learned always just be honest. And if you're not honest, it's just gonna bubble up, whether it's a year later, 2 years later, or within the moment of just how you're talking to someone. So that's something that could be number two. The truth is
That's a
always
good
revealed.
two.
That's kind of threatening, but It really is true. Or I mean, like with drinking, not drinking anymore, it's I'm just faced with the truth all the time. I can't run away from it. I'm always like, oh, why do I feel this way? I can't. Instead of before, I'd always just be like, oh, I'll have a drink, I'll relax, it'll be great. Now I'm like, why do I feel this way? And why? And now I have to be like, okay, let's untangle this web instead of just kind of like forget it and leave it under the rug. And then that just would pile up. So now I'm constantly untangling. I'm very honest with people now, which sometimes bites me in the ass.
What could be the downside of being honest with somebody all the time?
It's so funny. I actually had my therapist tell me I could lie, and I'm like,
do you have a new therapist? I know,
just
like
got
you
rid of
closed
him.
that. You
I never
just got
found a
rid of
new
him.
one. I got rid of him like
You
months ago.
You told me about how you were
He
just
was
like over your
crazy.
therapist.
He told me he didn't care if his ex-wife died, and I'm like, that's the mother of your children.
Do you think he?
That's crazy.
Oh damn, that's all other layer to it. I can
like-
understand the like, not caring if your ex-wife died, but like
He said burned, I think too. It was intense. Yeah.
honestly,
Meanwhile, he's drinking out of a red cup. I'm like, why am I paying you?
I honestly would give a fuck if her house burned down all of a sudden because she didn't invite me to my son's Chuck E. Cheese. I'm supposed to care. I'm supposed to care that she is a overcooked pizza. I would care if she let me go to Tyler's party, but instead I was home by myself.
Pretty good. The
My
drunk guy.
girlfriend
It's good.
Teresa. Method.
It's good. It's good method.
That's I don't think it's probably not a good idea to keep going to a therapist that's drinking out of a red cup.
No, and just
Probably gonna start quoting Joe Rogan or something. I mean, which is not bad, but like you don't want
People like
somebody
Joe.
with a
Yeah.
degree on
But
their
I remember
law.
when he told me I didn't have to tell the truth, I was kind of like, I understand elimination as a form of lying, which that's fair. We all do it. We all leave out facts.
Eliminate? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a form of lying.
Right.
Or omission, actually.
Omission.
Is the term. Omission.
Not elimination. 'cause
Sorry,
you're
I'm
just
making
not
shit up
talking
over
about-
here.
Yeah.
You can just eliminate the lie, and it never happened. It's
Your Honor.
crazy. Yeah, omission is leaving the facts out. But
Right. That's what people
yeah.
go to jail for when they commit perjury. A
yeah.
lot of the time they admit certain facts.
Oh.
But I think like there's this big thing right now happening with Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
They are being sued by Dominion voting machines because when Trump lost in the last election, all these anchors just like went on air and were talking about how Dominion and their faulty machines were the reason why so many votes got changed or lost, which ended up being not true. And they knew it wasn't true, and Dominion sued them. And now like all this stuff is coming out in the court filings and like shit on the record of like Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity being like, none of this is real, and Rudy Giuliani is crazy, but we have to keep pushing this out because Newsmax is pushing it out, and we're gonna lose all our viewership to them.
Yeah.
And the owner of Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, who's like Australian Satan, who in like the 80s decided that I know what people are going to want to watch in America, and it's conservative
He's
news. That's
Australian?
all opinion.
Should I know that? I should probably know that, right?
No, I mean, there's no reason.
Seems
No,
kind of crazy. That
yeah, he's
some
Australian,
American
and he
news.
runs the Fox News network.
Oh, it makes
Somebody
sense
who's not
now.
even from America
The
is
less
talking
it makes
about
sense,
it.
the more it makes sense. I've always
That's the
said that
thing.
about Broadway.
That's right. Well, I mean, like, it's not even like shocking
in
that
life, in
Fox
life.
News knowingly aired lies. It's shocking, like, how quickly Rupert Murdoch, because he's on trial now and he's facing $1 billion defamation suit.
Wow.
And you look at a guy like that and you think, like, he has so much money. What's $1 billion to him? No, that's the tip of the iceberg. And it all starts to roll over. They already, like 3 years ago, I got into a court battle where they had to Fox News was the one that said, we assume that our viewers know that nothing Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity says should be taken seriously. They're not even classified as news shows. They're opinion shows, which fine, do that all day long. Not when it's on prime time on a network called Fox News. CNN has the same problem right now too. And MSNBC just like, it's just a circle jerk of opinion there, and there's no diversity of thought in any of this. But the craziest part about it is just watching how quickly Rupert Murdoch is just like, yeah, maybe some of these executives and hosts have to get fired because we knowingly pushed out this this bullshit. I forgot why I started going off on
I
that
said
tangent.
omission, and then you brought
So
up
right, yeah, omitting
they're omitting
in their initial broadcast
fresh on the mind for
that
you,
they
clearly.
thought that that everything they were saying is bullshit. It's being like,
That's the news.
being like, hey, you want to hear something really funny? Dominion stole the election, but just not including the part that says,
Right.
want to hear something that's funny and completely bullshit.
That's how.
But I think
Fox
it's an
News
important.
works, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Fox News works because it's easy to have an echo chamber for conservatives because there's no diversity of thought. There's no it's just so easy to fall into the circle of lies. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And when you can't prove it, it's what you could talk about. And that's what they could talk about. They're so good at creating supervillains, the Republicans. They're so great at it. They did it with Dr. Seuss. They did it with the migrant caravan. Every time there's an election, they're so good at it. And they're so good at telling everybody in normal middle America that this is what the other side wants to take away from you. And I have a lot of problems with the party that I'm registered with as well, which is the Democratic Party. Okay. And I can't stand any of them.
I picked the middle one, and
there is no middle one. There's the lesser of two evils. Yeah. But I mean, I wish I understand that too. There's a lot of people who are independent. Yeah, I am. Yeah, which I feel like most people who think they are in the gray area are truly on the left side of things, but they can't deal with the extremes. And I don't doubt it as an extremist myself. Yeah. And I don't blame them. I'm for there was this story. You remember that cop that a few months ago here's a case of me being a leftist. She got caught sleeping with like all of her coworkers. We brought that up
on the podcast.
Well, I want to find out what her name is because this is an important. I was thinking about this earlier. I have it saved. I had the story saved.
You were written down on your notes.
I have it. I have it saved. No. Oh, maybe I do. Yeah, cop who slept with cops.
Look at that. You're finding this just so seamlessly.
I'm just. It's coming up organically. The whole point of having notes is so you don't know what I'm going to talk about. You always do that. That's why I don't write it down. Okay, this cop. Good. Last blood of the 20s. Put it in a bottle and put it on your Patreon. The cop, she was from Tennessee. Makes a lot of sense. So the backstory is this cop slept with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different cops on the force.
Within what time span? I just want to be able to compare myself.
I mean, I don't know. Probably
I'm pretty bad. My numbers are down.
Well, all you have to do is get a badge, and it feels like you won't be in a dry spell.
Fuck the police.
Yeah. Stop. I'm gonna have to frisk you for some cock, sir. She said her name is Megan Hall. Name is spelled Maegan.
Like a slut. Just kidding. That's a joke, you guys. That's a joke. I'm making a joke.
Keep that in there.
She is sex positive.
She is, but the people that she was sleeping with were not. Somebody snitched. I don't even know how anybody found out about any of this.
Someone
but she
caught
said
feelings. That's what happened.
She said she was sexually groomed, which could
Aren't
be
we
true.
All? That's how you go into a relationship, by being sexually groomed.
Really?
I mean, I don't know what the definition of sexually groomed is, but I feel like that's like a, hey, you're hot.
I feel like there's definitely not a good way to say sexually
groomed. Are you
groomed.
sexually grooming me?
That's never going to be in the wedding vows. Dave, our first 3 months together when you were sexually grooming me.
He asked you out for drinks.
I mean,
he could victimize any situation in any sort of romantic setting.
That is true. I'm also starting to understand why you're going through this dry spell, because you've been a victim for so long. Stop going out with guys you met on Bumble or on financebros.com.
Oh, keep going.
It's got to be. I mean, it sucks. I mean, the story just was that it should be sexually groomed on all these apps. My point. My point was that she's pleading the case that she is intellectually and emotionally underdeveloped, which I think is why she makes such a great cop.
Someone handed that woman a gun after she goes, I have 2 brain cells?
No, it's after she got caught sleeping with 6 of her. Because
she's stupid? Is that what she's saying?
She's saying she was groomed by them and she's intellectually and emotionally underdeveloped, and that only came out after she had her body count printed. And if that never happened, then this emotionally and intelligent intellectually, woman would be out there capable of taking a life. Well, okay. We'll be right back after these messages.
I just love that she could use underdeveloped as an I'm going to use that excuse for anything. At work,
What?
I'll be like, you know what?
Yeah, the
I'm a little
exact
too emotionally underdeveloped for this finance
emotionally
report.
underdeveloped. Yeah.
I was dropped as a
isn't?
baby. I fell off a horse at least 30 times. At least.
Yeah, how old were you when that was
At
happening?
least.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little emotionally underdeveloped.
Do you know? And a little kicked in the brain, donkeys. You know that's what happened to the guy who played Superman, Christopher Reeve?
Yeah, he fell off a horse.
He fell off a horse and was paralyzed.
I luckily never got paralyzed, but I have.
That's what
off
always scared me about going on a horse. I don't trust horses.
I want to
either.
get you on a horse. Though.
I don't know.
You said you want to. After
I do, but I don't trust them. I don't like the way they look.
You just have to be one with the horse.
That's
how it
with
works.
the horse. I eat enough Taco
feel
Bell.
your
That probably
thoughts.
shouldn't be a problem.
Speaking of the truth,
yes.
If you think it, the horse feels it. So if you're nervous, the horse is like, "Oh no!" But if you're like, "I got this," they're like, "All right, we're good."
What if
it's like the audience with comedy? The horse is the audience.
If the horse is
tell
thinking
them
this guy
up.
really wants me to throw him off the back of me.
I used to be really nervous riding horses. Like I would.
How old were you when you started riding horses?
4. Yeah, I didn't stop till I was 15. I got bullied out of it eventually, but it was like my whole childhood.
Because you were a horse girl. You got bullied out. Did you have them on your
I
binders?
was a cool horse girl, not a regular one. Yeah, I did. I had a picture of my pony on my locker. It was a whole thing. I'll admit it.
I think it had nothing to do with the horses. It just got bullied for being weird.
It was the horses. I was cool. I just happened to have a horse, and then my friends.
And then once you got rid of the horse, it was birthday party invitations.
Then I switched to lacrosse, and they're like, "All right, you can sit with us."
That makes sense.
But one time,
lacrosse is exactly what I could picture you playing.
Yeah.
I had a friend who died playing lacrosse.
Really?
Yeah.
Hit in the face?
No, just like, I guess she didn't die playing it. Hit in the face. That was quick.
Well, like, that's happened.
I've
actually heard the story. A guy got hit in the heart with like a shot.
That makes sense because like
the
momentum.
It's fast. Yeah. I've been hit in the face with a few.
It's like a face mask that you wear when you play lacrosse. Men have helmets.
Right? Women have just like a cage over their eyes.
Right.
It's hard to see with it on. I don't know how I did it. I have bad eyesight too.
Why do women have different helmets than men do in lacrosse?
Men's is more physical.
More important, physical.
Men's lacrosse. I said men's and I left out the lacrosse part, so I sounded emotionally underdeveloped. Men's is.
Now that you have that excuse, I feel like you're just. We got Pop always told me we got the boys who played with the face protections, and the girls only had to keep the eyes protected so we could see where we were picking our collard greens from.
That's exactly how it was. Anyways, I do want to go back to the list of lessons. I think we're doing really well at this.
Yeah.
That's a fine.
What other lessons do you have?
So first was being kind. Second was the truth is always revealed. What was the third that you went on that ramp? Oh. Don't lie. I really doubled down on the truth thing.
Yeah, that's 2 of the 4. Same point.
Okay.
I mean,
here. Well, then number 3. Number 3. Rules of living. Or just here's an observation. I feel like the older you get, the younger you feel. Like if I was 15 and someone told me that 30-year-old over there, I'd be like, that old lady can just stay over there. But now that I'm 30, I'm like, I'm so young. And if you pointed at a 15-year-old, I'd be like, that infant baby child shouldn't be in the streets right now. They should be,
Right. The younger
babysitter.
You are, the older you feel, I feel like. And then there comes a crossroads where you realize you don't know anything. Because I think about like the balls I had to be coming to the city when I was 17 and so doing the shows and like just sleeping on the train and just fucking everything in school it was all hinged on what I'm doing now. And then like the fear and the self-doubt that I have now, I did not have when I was that age.
What do you
because
think?
You just feel like that you don't realize, you think you're never gonna die. There's an immortal factor. There's so much is going for you and you're about you hear repeatedly you're starting the whole rest of your life, and it's not till I feel like you've at least in my where I'm at now and where I've gotten to over the last few years, especially living through something like COVID, and there's probably going to be 2 or 3 more of those in my lifetime. But living through something like that, you're just like, okay, there's really, you don't know anything.
Right.
I mean, I knew that before that happened, but not knowing is very comforting to me. Whereas when I was younger, I would just block out the not knowing and arrogantly be like, I know. And also, if I don't, what am I going to do? The not knowing is the thing that excites and inspires me. Because then I can learn something. Every time I learn something, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Just knowing that there's something that I don't know.
I love that you brought that up because I recently heard that. So my dad told me a quote once that said, life is like a roll of toilet paper. It goes faster at the end. And it's true that time does seem to go by quicker. And I was doing some research on that because I was curious. And they said that it's because you have less new experiences the older you get, and your days get more monotonous as time goes on. So a way to stay young and feel like time isn't slipping by you is to constantly be doing new things or trying new things, or even traveling. That day, a feeling of awe will really ground you and make you feel like you're gaining a new experience, and it'll slow down time.
What new experiences are you opening yourself up to?
I am traveling in June.
Where are you going?
When I heard that, I was like, oh, thank God. I'm going to Ireland, Croatia, Croatia. So Montenegro and Dubrovnik.
What inspired that?
My friend's getting married, so I have to go.
She's getting married in Ireland or
Croatia. So it's kind of like a forced family fun situation, but I'm like, I needed someone to kick me in the ass to go travel because I haven't really wanted to travel. Because with comedy, it feels like when you leave the city, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Again, unless you're touring for comedy, when you take time off, it kind of spooks me. Especially
my need for traveling really was not existed my first like 6 years living in the city because I was just like, I have everything I want.
I really do feel like the time. Everything is here.
Then when I go out of the country, like all the road stuff I have coming up this year are places I've never been to before. That's so exciting.
It's just so exciting.
Burping off camera. First one on the pod
right now.
I'm glad Rick's not wearing headphones. He is wearing headphones. I'm sorry, Rick. You had to hear that. I'm glad you didn't have to smell it. I cooked today.
Like a lady internally.
You did?
What'd you cook?
Yeah, keep your burp to yourself.
It's in here.
Once you're 30, all gas is inside. I cooked a big old stew because I kept wasting chicken.
That's so domestic.
Yeah, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption and
making stew.
I made nothing. I went to Trader Joe's, spent like $20.
It's not bad.
7 of those bucks went to the stew.
Amazing.
Rice, beans, chili, fresh vegetables.
I'm impressed.
Cut it all up, eat it. I don't look at it when I eat it. I just like listen to music and I eat it really quickly like a dog, and then I just move on. I'm trying not to enjoy food.
That's very monk-like.
Eat it for intention.
Right. That's how monks eat.
Do they?
Yeah, and they eat it all in one bowl too. So you ate like a monk.
What, like Popeye?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to do with a paper bowl just to get the fiber. But I'm trying to reset.
Yeah. Well, you look good.
Thank you. I wasn't fishing, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, you look fit.
You look good too.
The pause. So.
You look great.
It's okay.
My dad called after the show.
So I would have fixed my face.
No, you can't lie to that camera. My dad called me after that show in Connecticut, and I thought he was calling to tell me how good the show was, but he called to tell me how good you did.
That's really sweet.
And I thought that was.
I thought I ate shit, so that's really nice.
That could be another lesson you're taking into your 30s.
It's never as bad as you think it is. That's actually pretty decent. Unless you're dead, it's not that bad. How bad could it be? You're alive. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Not to spiral on that.
No, I mean, how do you feel about there's right to life, right? That's like a big thing that we govern and within this society. And then there's the right to death. I was reading about this case the other day. Let me ask you something about it. Let me see.
Like if we could do like what Sweden does where they can assist your suicide.
Kind of, yeah. There was this woman who was in a vegetative state. Teresa Scavillo, I think her name was. She was like brain dead and like wherever she was living wouldn't let her family pull the plug or do anything. So she just like, they would like cart her out
That's
and
not
like bring her to
fair.
protest and all this. And she'd be like, please just let me die.
Could she speak?
No,
Okay, yeah.
completely nothing.
Yeah,
Like
it's not
there's
fair.
no, what's the point of living at that point, you know?
No, and especially if it's like expensive for your family, that's not fair at all.
Yeah, there was that thing in SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs didn't have health insurance and he was brain dead and they just carted him out onto the sidewalk. And I feel like that's basically what you're doing to not only the person but the family after a while. Like you're draining for what? Like you know that they're
Yeah.
not going to come back, and it's got to suck. There's got to be, you know, there's no easy way to make a decision like that. But
No, I think it's horrible. Like if someone also dies to have bills still, it's like, well, they're gone.
yeah,
I don't wanna
doesn't it
pay
roll
for
over
them
to the
when they're
family?
gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the family has to pay.
That makes no
Same
sense
with
to me.
debt and stuff. Like if you have credit card debt and you die, like someone takes that
That
on.
should have died with kings and queens, honestly.
I think it's crazy. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, if I were to die, like I'm worth negative $5,000 right now.
We're not that. Me
sucks.
too. We're not that far from. Look at
It's
us.
so bad.
We're gonna have to run right out of here, boss. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's like we don't let the person that is in charge of the whole government be the son of the last person who was just in charge of the government anymore, because monarchies don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And we've realized that unless you're British, but even that's just a ceremonial position. So like, why do they roll over debt? Like, what are you missing out
Because
on?
someone has to pay for it.
Why?
My only
Why,
thought is
though?
because then I guess they could like make fake money, but I just think
Money, yeah, money's fake at that point.
I
Like student
know.
debt loans, that's fake
I think
money.
it's
None of that's
crazy.
real.
I
That money
know.
doesn't exist.
Nothing makes sense.
They're just putting a number in your head so you'll work the rest of your life instead of, otherwise people would just either kill themselves or start doing comedy. Once you put a number over your head, something like student debt, what is it? What's the average student debt? Like what, you know, it's like at least 6 figures, right?
Yeah.
Most, you know, say you have $100,000 in student loan debt. That number is only going to get bigger every single year that you have that number of dollars over your head. As soon as they clear that and take that away from everybody, people are going to realize that they don't have to work a job they hate for the rest of their lives to pay back a fake imaginary number. That's why I don't understand why people have such a problem with clearing student debt. Just because you suffered doesn't mean everybody else is due. There will be times in that person's life where they will have to be miserable and have to work their asses off. The student loan thing is not going to be a problem.
With debt like that.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I mean, I'm in my fair share of debt, but thank God I don't have student debt, because I mean, I'd probably still be doing this and would have to pay back that on top of everything else for something.
It would feel really suffocating to be like, I'm at this job because I owe so much money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why they should just wipe that shit clean.
They
like,
aren't they?
Americans are entrepreneurs by nature. If you wipe that slate clean, first of all, nobody's going to mass start quitting their jobs because they don't have to work them anymore. People are just going to realize their potential and want to work in jobs that they're going to be proficient at because they care about what they're doing. And once you do that, that leaves rooms for people leaves room for people who are going to leave those jobs to go pursue their next level and their dream, for people to take over that job. Then we'll get to a point where everybody's working at an extreme level of efficiency because they're not a slave to this fake number that the government created.
Yeah, I agree.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, it's just fake money.
Money doesn't make any sense to me. It's all just a number on a screen.
I know, and you live your life by
crazy.
it. Before cat, like,
it sits in my mind, but I try not to think about it too much. Like, I need the money, obviously, to, like, eat and stuff, but I have a credit card. I just am like, whatever. I have a paycheck.
That's why. Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, I don't have a credit card for that reason. No, I'd fuck myself over. I have to get one soon. There's a lot of adult things.
Because I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how you do it.
I'm just waiting
really
for.
Impressive.
I'm waiting for the next big thing to happen.
For the credit card.
Then I can get a credit card. I was watching this documentary about the Vanderbilts. You know about the Vanderbilts?
Yeah.
And how, like, they were once the richest family ever, and then, like, it took, like,
they all got credit cards.
3. Yeah. They all watched the Samuel Jackson Capital One commercial, and they were like, "This motherfucker's not joking." But, like, they were the once richest family ever. And Anderson Cooper is a descendant of the Vanderbilts. Right. His mother was like
He's got a crazy story.
Anderson Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Silver Panther.
He's so I'm just so intrigued. I just love when him and Andy Cohen get wasted together on national
They can't. They don't
television.
anymore because CNN became a
know,
bunch
well,
of pussies.
It's still, I can't believe that happened, and you get to see him in like such a goofy light, and then he's in these crazy serious interviews, and you're like, I've seen you wasted.
Yeah, but
It's
that makes me
funny.
want to watch those interviews
Yeah, no,
more.
it makes
you
him
know,
human. I think it's cool. I think
it's like seeing your teacher outside of school.
it's like
You
seeing
eat pizza?
Yeah.
You know, like I love to see. I'm always curious. Like when I meet somebody super serious or in a position of power, I'm always like, wonder what you do when you get home.
Yeah, seeing him like a casual setting.
Yeah, you just sit and stare at a wall.
Yeah, they just go into power off mode and go in their
Yeah,
closet.
boo, 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 boo.
Yeah.
There was this guy that used to be my supervisor, and he was just like the most like corporate sociopath ever. Just like could never have a conversation with him. You could just see like the ones and zeros turning in his brain. And there was a thing where we were working where we were like, dude, like we don't get out of work till 2 a.m. The last train that we can catch is at 2:15. Can we get out at like 1:55 so we can make it to the train in time? And he was like, oh, if you miss the train, you can do what I do, which is download a couple of movies and watch them until the train comes. Great fucking idea, Robert.
He said that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he married a stripper.
Well, that's living.
That was the crazy part. Being like, how did you land that one, man? Or like maybe he's
money.
Severely
Do you have
a
a lot of
freak.
money?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I mean, what's a lot of money in New York?
Who was this guy?
He was a supervisor at my old job.
No. At the King
I
Kong?
can't. Yeah, I don't want to say it because this
Okay.
is probably defamation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was my supervisor at Wendy's when I worked there. I helped him come up with a 4 for
I'd
4.
love to see you behind the counter of a Wendy's. What was your first
Couldn't
job?
do it. People be like, "Can I get?" No, you can't.
Restaurant.
My first job was I was a busboy at a restaurant with my mom, and that's when I was like, "Man, I really got to chase my dreams."
You did it. And look
I
at you
did.
now.
Making dozens of dollars.
Hey, you're doing great. Hey, you got a shout out?
What
You
else
want to
did
talk
I
about that?
What from Logic?
Yeah,
That's my
shout
dog,
out.
man.
Shout
Thank
out
you,
from Logic. That was really cool.
That's my boy, man.
I'm a fan of Theo Vaughn too, so that was fun.
Yeah, that was nice too.
Yeah, you're the future of comedy.
No, I'm not, but it was nice of him to say that.
Hey, he said it.
I know.
Why not believe
really
it?
Sweet of him. Yeah, but because he's a great guy.
Are you calling him a liar?
Logic is like the most.
Are you calling Logic a liar? Are you not the future of comedy?
I'm calling him the most genuine dude you will probably ever meet because he's
fact.
so. Why are you grilling me right now?
I'm just saying you're the future of comedy. That's all.
Well, don't. It makes me uncomfortable.
Remember when you said all the nice things to me? I'm just making you feel it.
I know. That's why it's not genuine. I sneak attacked you. You didn't even know I was going to do it.
I do really believe in you.
I know. But your attempt to make me uncomfortable isn't working. I'm able to deflect it.
You didn't a second ago.
We're in the deflection right now. See, you didn't even realize
I feel
the level of.
I feel it. You're absorbing my compliments, and they're genuine.
I'm absorbing something, and I'm just so glad Rick is here. If it weren't for Rick,
you're absorbing the love.
Yeah, monkeypox on my open wound.
Yeah,
I did something to my hand. I don't know what I did. I cut it on something.
I have a little cut on my thumb.
I did it to my palm too.
Weird. The palm cut's weird.
Yeah, like a blood sacrifice.
You need more calluses if you're going to be working out.
I realized I don't want to get like my goal was like Christian Bale when he played Batman. I wanted to get like that big, but like that's a lot of maintenance.
That's a
lot. My brother is jacked. He's huge and he's an animal. And like that's so much you just have to like do all the time, daily. Like I just want to like have
just be hot all the time.
I want to just be good. I want to be in good shape and cut. I don't want to be like
jacked.
That because that's so yeah. Like I'm lazy and I'll stop working out for a minute and then that's just gonna turn into dough.
That's how I feel. During the pandemic, I hit it hard because I had nothing else to do, and I got pretty jacked. Like when I had those Michelle Obama arms during the summer, like that was also a phase. Those were your words, not mine.
Those were my words.
Yeah, they were kind of getting a little.
Let me be clear.
My arms were getting a little fit,
you
and then
are
it gave up.
Orange
didn't
theory.
Work out every day, so then it went away, and here we are.
The
human blob.
I went to a wedding, and there was a woman there in a white dress. She was fucking jacked.
Really? She wasn't the bride?
No.
She wore a white dress? Seems odd.
I know.
It's a big
It was very dramatic. Then I learned it was the groom's relative, and I was like, okay, I won't ask no more questions. But it was dramatic. Everybody was looking at her. She was jacked. She looked like She-Hulk.
Photo?
No.
He
We
didn't
were all
sneak
just
a
so
photo?
focused. She was
Where
crying
was
and
the
drunk.
wedding?
Jersey.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah. It was in a nice little, it was in Ridgewood, New Jersey.
Okay.
The town, it was like a little town, like a little villa town. There's all these little shops, not a lot of name brands.
Mhm.
Sherwin-Williams was out there, I think. That's paint, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were out there. But otherwise, it was a little town. I like going to little towns.
Not
I'm always
Mount
fascinated
Holly.
how people live. That's how most people live.
Yeah.
And I live in a city where I have to be grateful for a shoebox filled with pills because I'm steps away from the Met. Woo!
What was that?
That's what you have to gaslight yourself in order to live in New York.
Oh, for sure.
But I also
This
wouldn't live
is
anywhere else.
great.
The thing is,
great.
if I wanted to live anywhere else, I would.
You could. That's my joke. Remember, I say
Right. If you could
if
make
you
it
can
here, you can
afford
make
to
it
live
anywhere.
here,
Right.
you can afford to live anywhere,
Right.
and you
And you
probably
should. Yeah.
Over here,
Way
in
to sell your
Florida,
own joke.
I know. I
Glad I'm
can't-
bringing you as an opener.
Right?
You're really selling yourself up.
Come see us live.
We're gonna be in Philly.
Philly. Let's do it chronologically.
We're gonna be in Rhode Island when
Rhode
the week
Island.
this airs.
Well, this March 7th, Tuesday, we're gonna be in Stanford near Comedy Club.
Yes, right.
And then on Thursday the 9th, we're gonna be
Comedy
in
Connection in
Rhode
Providence.
Island. Yes.
And
Comedy
then
Connection.
after that, a week and a
Magoobies?
half.
Nope,
No, we have
then
Philly, a
Philly.
Helium Comedy Club in Philly,
The 21st.
the 21st, and
The
then
Tuesday?
Magoobies on the 30th
Mm-hmm.
in Maryland.
Magoobies.
More dates announced. Tori's
I'm
home
so
school.
excited. That's
Rick,
I'm gonna
how we
make you
doing
a
on
crab
time? Are
cake.
we running over? We're good. Okay, cool. Can you just give me a 5-minute warning when we're running over? I love to pontificate.
Beautiful. I'm gonna make you a crab cake in Florida. Or sorry, in Maryland.
That sounded like a Cardi B lyric.
I'm gonna make you
I'm
eat a
gonna make
crab
you eat
cake
a
in
crab
Maryland.
cake in Maryland. If it's up, pinch, pinch.
Macaroni in a
I
pot.
wrote a sketch years ago.
Crab cake in Maryland. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
done.
no. God, what the hell is that?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'll never do
God.
that again.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't matter. It's just
I'm
always
so
gonna
sorry.
be in my head.
I'm so sorry.
I wanted to believe in you, and it just
I'm so sorry. I thought I could make something good there. Anyways, back to you.
instead you made an impression.
What were you saying?
I had a sketch that I wrote a while ago. It was like a police lineup, and it was like, pick out which one of these guys attacked you, miss. It's a number one, and it's a lobster, like a real lobster.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, not that one. Number two is a real life crab, and she's like, no, it wasn't that one either. And then number three is imitation crab, and it's just a man in a crab suit, and he's like, snip, snip, oh, pinch, 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 and she's like, that's the one. It was imitation crab.
You should definitely make
It never went
that come to
anywhere.
life.
I filmed like 3 sketches last week.
Yeah?
That
With Joey?
yeah,
How'd they
and
go?
I'm never gonna put them out. It's so bad.
Really? You just watch it back like, what the hell
I
was
edited
that?
it, I did everything, and then you step back from me, you're like, oh yeah, I cannot.
Can I see it?
Probably not.
Let's put it on the Patreon.
Yeah, we keep the
People
people
are
are gonna
gonna
start
want that.
thinking we have one. I
Yeah,
don't
because
have one yet.
they're gonna ask for it.
I don't have anything that's worth paying extra for yet.
I think that sketches.
No, it's yeah, it's weird. I have a lot of sketches like that I think would like be good, and then I shoot it, edit it, and I'm like, oh god, that's horrible. But that's also what I thought of the
Can I
Seinfeld
see it
stuff.
at least? Yeah, I was gonna say you're like I said. I thought I ate shit in Southbury, but you said your dad liked it, so
Yeah,
maybe he like watching me fail. I don't know.
that could be it too.
Yeah. Hey, when she got no laughs, loved it.
He
That standing desk joke hit hard.
So what? Okay, going into how are you feeling?
I'm going into 30.
Just about anything,
About
about any
life?
of it,
How am I feeling about
what's
life?
going on? Yeah, are we feeling good? Starting this new chapter off in your life?
My 30s.
Do you feel excited?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
What do you want to do in
30?
this new year of life?
in this new year, just in the year.
I mean, yeah.
I like that we're
Coming
going
up on a birthday.
tour.
Yeah,
I'm excited
be
about
fun.
that. That's really fun for me and you. And I meant that anyways. That seemed like
You keep looking at the notes that I
Sorry.
wrote down, and this is why I don't write down notes.
I'm excited for the tour.
I will say the last thing on the note because you keep looking at it. Let me tell the story. Now it's not even worth it. The other day I was coming home. I was riding a city bike across Queensboro.
Were you hit by a car?
Not this time, but it was close. The city bike stopped working. It was an electric one. It just locked up and an alarm went off. And I just had to leave it on the bridge. And I walked off the
That's
bridge.
expensive for you, right?
No, it just like locked up. And they were like, get off the mic or we're calling the SWAT team. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this happened like 3 times to me. This is the most inconvenient time that it's ever happened. I'm in the middle of the bridge. I'm going off. And I'm coming down midway of the Queensboro Bridge. This is a long bridge to walk, especially if you thought you were going to be biking the whole time. Get off the bridge. I'm smoking a cigarette. This woman comes up to me. She kind of looked like I was like, it's probably, crackhead, whatever. She looks at me. She's like, do you have another cigarette? And I was like, oh, she's not a crackhead. She's just cold. She's been out here for a long time looking for. I was like, yeah, I have another one you can have. And I was listening to music on my phone, but my AirPods died. This was a day of technology failing me, and I was listening to Yakety Yak. You know that song? Take out the papers and the trash.
Yeah, who sings that?
I don't remember.
I used to listen to that as a kid all the time.
There was a show on Nickelodeon called Yakety Yak, and the theme song was this song. I forget who sings it, but anyway, it's playing in my pocket as I'm giving this woman a cigarette. She's like, thank you so much. My dad died this morning and he loved that song. And then just like fell into my arms.
That's so sad.
As this is happening, I'm thinking, oh, somebody's about to come and rob me.
Yes.
This is a setup happening. Didn't. She just like, her dad, thankfully, had died. So there was no danger. But that was a weird New York moment that happened to me the other day. I meant to tell you about. Yeah. I was glad I was able to give her a cigarette.
Did it remind you of my joke?
She's 1 minute closer to being to her dad. What?
So did it remind you of my joke?
What's your joke?
When homeless people ask me for a cigarette.
What? And you're like, ask for a job?
Yeah. But I know she wasn't homeless, just a potential crackhead.
Yeah. Everyone
It's
is
different.
a potential crackhead. We're one bad day from being a
You're right.
potential crackhead.
That's what I'll relapse.
They
with.
always say like in documentaries, nobody wakes up and decides to smoke crack, or nobody wakes up and decides to rob a bank. I think sometimes you do.
I'd hope the
Sometimes
bank
you go to
would be
bed planning it.
planned. Yeah, I'd hope that'd be very planned.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to do that without a plan.
I think they're trying to sing it like in a way where it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen overnight.
Literally. You should make that a bit.
What is the deal with
Yeah.
the construct of time
Yeah.
and how it passes us by? We've got
10.
Oh, it says right here that Torey is fired. God
Yeah.
damn, Rick went right after you.
That's
on
how you
that,
wanted
man.
to tell me?
Yeah,
That'd be really funny, actually.
I wouldn't. No, I
Hey,
could
now that
never
you're
fire you.
over the hill, you old
wouldn't-
bag.
I would never be able to fire you. What I do is I just stop altogether.
All right.
So you'll know.
Now
But
I
which wouldn't
know.
happen because I'm codependent and you know too many secrets.
I do know where all the bombs are.
There's not many. There's none. No bomb.
It's okay. We won't tell them.
10
minutes. Damn.
What? Did it fly by?
Yeah, really ripped by. No, it did. It did. I'm not being a dick. It did.
You're not being a dick, dude.
I'm not being a
It
dick.
went right over.
Do
What
we
do you
have?
have to plug? Do you have anything to promote? You have any shows? This comes
I'm,
out next
I'm
week.
following
So nothing.
Troy Bond around.
Yes, that's
I'm gonna
true.
be following him.
Not on tour. She's just
I'm just
has
following.
a gun.
Yeah. Nothing to plug. Oh, my blog. You shared my blog.
I did.
And that meant the world to me.
I was lucky enough
I
to
interviewed Troy.
be interviewed by Torey on her blog.
And I asked some hard-hitting questions that he just knocked out of the park, one after the other, and I was just really profound.
I'm happy. I'm glad you include me in things like that.
I'm just so happy you actually wanted to do it. When I sent it to you, I thought you would be like, it would be like "Aw, good job," and then you posted it on your Instagram, and that meant a lot. And it's funny, I was thinking about you the other day because I hate to do this to you. You're gonna kill me, but I was watching Jay Shetty, and he told
Who you never bring him up.
He said to his guest, he goes, something I like to think about is my first memory that I've ever had. And my first memory was when my baby sister was born and the excitement we had around it. And I can remember the day and all the details. And I was thinking
So
about
he just
you.
stole my whole flow.
Yeah, he saw your Instagram post and was like,
Was this after the interview?
Yeah, it was. It was after we did it. I don't know if it was an old episode,
I don't know.
but it was
either,
really,
but I think
really
I inspired
fun.
it.
The way he answered it was exactly the way you answered it, with the detailed hats of the Big Brother hats, and the way he could remember holding her, and the way you could remember holding Jack or Logan.
I remember the first time I dropped Jack. It was Jack. That's the baby one. I dropped
Oh
him
wait, because
once.
you're excited that Logan was.
Logan is. I have two
yes.
brothers. I have
Yeah,
Logan
yeah.
and Jack. Jack is the one who's 8 years younger than me.
Right.
And I held him a lot when I was a baby.
You
It's why I have a
dropped
fear
him?
of mice. Because my mom worked overnight. Whatever the 11 to 7, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. She worked in a factory, Peter Paul, where they made almond joys and chocolate bars, whatever. And she worked at night, and my dad worked in the morning. And I would get Jack up and feed him and get him ready, and I would feed the dog, whatever. And if I did it early enough, I could play the PS2 before anybody woke up. So that was my routine. I used to get up at like 5 a.m., feed the dog, feed the baby, hold the baby in my arm while I'm playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas before I'm going to 5th grade.
That's
Great environment for a child.
Amazing.
There was
that needs to be remade in a movie.
I
one
did
day.
it so much. I was so
wanna
good
see
at
that.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to picture that. That's like a beautiful.
We lived in a little duplex in Naugatuck, Connecticut, on a cul-de-sac where I was doing all this. And the dog food was underneath the sink. And one day I was going to get the dog food, and I opened up the bag because it's like a big ass bag of dog food. Mouse jumped out right at me. It was the size of a grizzly bear, this mouse. And then it jumped out at my face. It was trying to go for the throat, but I moved like Neo in the Matrix. I felt it, but I felt them breeze past. I felt his little mouse feet like kick by my eyelashes a little bit because I got long eyelashes, so I could feel when something blows past it. I think one eyelash kind of flew out, and I'm glad because I was like, his last wish was to live and get past me. Failed assassination attempt. This mouse hits the floor. I remember hearing this mouse hit the floor. It was just like that. I felt it. A fat mouse runs down to the basement. I never set foot in that basement again. A week later, I had dropped Jack for the first time. I was it was actually really fucked up. Yeah. Because we had the dog Parker, and Parker was a Boston Terrier, which they're great dogs, but they're very stupid and they get very excited very quickly. And we had 2 cats at the time. And Parker would just get himself so excited to where he would just run in circles, but it's a duplex. We didn't have a lot of places to run. And Logan was lifting up the couch trying to get something, and Parker was running around my legs like the snow speeder on Hoff. And I had Jack in my arms. I was like maybe 9 years old. Just dropped him right there as Logan put the couch down. Went on Jack. He's like maybe I think like 9 months old at this point.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Did you jump on his head?
I don't remember it being on his head. I think it was more like a belly flop on the carpet.
Was your dad home?
No, but my mom was.
Okay.
She was drunk though, so no, she's not. Thank you, brother Rick. Yeah, so that's a good story to just remind everybody not to drop a baby.
Yeah, wait,
that's the point I was trying to make.
Where did that stem from?
Not sure. Oh,
the interview.
You were talking about Jay
Memories.
Shetty, and I was trying to make it back about myself.
And then
and you were like, how sweet it is to have a brother. And I was like, I remember the first time he fell on his
dropped
head.
him.
Dropped him on his head.
Did you get dropped as a baby?
I don't remember.
That would make sense.
Probably
I
means
think I
yes.
was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I don't think I was dropped a lot as a kid, but I did full head contact martial arts until I was like 17. And I think that scrambled things around.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, luckily I rode horses and fell off, so that gives us an equal playing field here.
That's why we're both just sitting here with brain cells rattling around in the craniotomy over there.
Aren't you glad you listened to the whole thing?
I am glad we were here for the whole thing. Even though I listened to maybe half of it while we were recording it. Okay, we plugged our road dates.
We did.
Do we have anything else we want to plug?
I could give my life mantra.
Okay, that means no. Thank you for listening to another episode of Bonding. Shout out to our boy Rick, who has chosen to remain anonymous. But I do want to say this whole time he's not been wearing pants.
Comment,
which I think is great.
Comment things. I like when I see the comments. They're really fun. A lot of them are, I love Troy, but feel free to comment about other people in the podcast. That's always welcome too.
They're commenting about the ones who matter.
And then comment your favorite lesson of life that you have this far. You can cut that out if you want. I know you probably will. But
God, that was
I think
so
it's
bad.
kind of fun to hear. I said be kind, and I'd like to hear what people think.
Be kind, be courteous, get money, get paid.
Deuces.
You almost put up 3 fingers there.